Mama, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired yet? Are you ready to get back to you and your wellness needs? I mean, everyone's going back to school. It's back to everything season. Everything's kicking up a gear. Let's get your wellness kicked up in gear. What do you say? Are you up for the challenge to prioritize your wellness needs and desires and goals in this family calendar, to put a spot for you on the calendar so that you can get filled up in order to pour out, right? We can't pour out onto all our people when we are empty. Let's fill yourself up. And we're going to do this in a 21-day holistic wellness challenge. And this can be any wellness goal. It can be any of the 8 wellness areas, but it's going to fill you up because this challenge is going to get back to the basics. We're going to get back to the basics of where it all started and get you taking achievable baby action steps to achieve your goal in 21 days, or at least be headed there in the right direction. This is going to be done with daily prayer, accountability, daily tasks, challenges, weekly trackers, prizes, and you might say, that's all great. I just don't have time. And I say, you do have time. The Lord has time for your wellness in your calendar, in your 24 hours, and to actually prioritize your worth. You are so worthy of wellness, you have to put it on the calendar. Okay, so we're going to teach you how to do that in this 21-day wellness challenge. And this isn't time wasted. This is time well spent working towards your wellness goal. And depending on your goal and the task for the day, it could just be minutes that you are spending on yourself, but you are making those very intentional baby steps towards your goal on the right path, in the right direction. Okay, I want you to join me right now in the 21-day wellness challenge. It starts September 4th, goes through September 25th. Go to www.theshanwright.com/challenge. The link is also in the show notes. I cannot wait to see you there. And hey, you could win over $500 in prizes for participation. Let's go. Let's move in intentional action towards our goals. Again, theshanwright.com/challenge. I can't wait to see you inside. And now on the podcast today, I want to share with you someone else who has a story to share. And because of that, she challenges other people to step in and do the work and change their lives too, just as she has. We have Ronda Kremske on the show today. She has struggled with her weight most of her life until she successfully lost 120 pounds and has kept it off for over 4 years. Through this journey, she discovered how to fuel her body in a healthy and sustainable way without feeling hungry or deprived. Her passion for sharing this knowledge led her to become a certified health coach. Ronda has since helped hundreds of clients implement lasting changes to improve their health. Her goal is to educate, motivate, and empower clients to reach their health goals, enabling them to enjoy the freedom she has found, whether it's fitting into smaller clothes, experiencing increased energy, building confidence, or eliminating aches and pains. Okay, so we have had several health coaches on the show, and they all have their thing, right? They have what they coach on. They have their plan and their method. And myself as well, being a wellness coach, I have things that I coach on and things that I can help you towards in your health goals. So I want to present this as a testimony. This is what Ronda has worked through, and she does have a specific way. And I'm not saying this is the only way, but if the Lord is leading you to leaning into Ronda and what she has to offer and her challenge and her way of eating and her group and all of that, then go for it. I want to give you an option, give you an open door, and it's a testimony. This is what happened. And so we got to shout this stuff that God's done in our life from the mountaintops, because you never know who needs to hear it and who it's going to reach. And so it is my privilege to have friends on the podcast and on the show that have this story of overcoming challenges, and they're here to share it. They want to help others. Sharing is caring. So they're sharing their story because they care for others and they want to help them through that same challenge that they were through. So I just pray this blesses you today. There's going to be links in the show notes to help you towards getting access to Rhonda's different challenges and groups and how you can get involved. So make sure you see that to catch the links, and I hope you are blessed by this conversation. Hey mama, are you stressed by the lack of time in the day to do all the things? Are you feeling disconnected from God, your husband, and even your kids because patience and presence seem out of reach? Do you want a healthier body, mind, spirit, and home, but overwhelmed in where to start? Hey, I'm Shan Wright, daughter of the king, wife, mom to 4, RN, wellness coach, and I know very well what it feels like to want to live well, but about to lose it with my very blessed full life. After realizing I can't pour from an empty cup, I tracked my way to whole body wellness and so much peace. If you are ready to cancel the stressed out life, learn tactical, intentional strategies as a mom wearing many hats, find more peace, confidence, and joy raising kingdom kids, then listen in. Come on, mama, together we got this. Really, God's got this. So go heat up that coffee again and turn your listening ears on. Let's chat. Welcome back to Holistic Moms. I am excited to share with you another testimony today. We have another health coach on, and from this testimony, we're going to be talking a very specific topic again from her testimony. So thanks for coming on, Rhonda. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to get into this and just to hear more about you and where you're coming from and what you do online today and how you help others. But first, just so our listeners can get to know you a little bit and myself, please share 3 things that you're loving right now.
All right. I would say, first of all, family time. And the reason I'm loving that is because I realize now how fast time truly goes. I have 3 adult children, which is hard to believe. My son just turned 18. I have a 22-year-old who graduated from UCF. I have a 20-year-old son, an 18-year-old son, and then we have a 9-year-old daughter. So she was our surprise blessing. And it's just, I can see how quickly time goes. So I'm really trying to just cherish every moment. And we just got back from a family vacation to North Carolina and spent so much wonderful quality family time, just building memories. So I would say that's number 1. Second would be just my client and family results that people are getting from following what I'm teaching. And it's just been incredible to see family members' lives completely change. That has been super exciting. For instance, my parents, they've been able to reverse their type 2 diabetes. They had A1Cs that were above 10 that they brought down to 5.3. My mom's lost 75 pounds. My dad's lost 121 pounds. We're a competitive family, so he had to beat me by 1 pound. I lost 120. He lost 121. And
Today.
yeah, exactly.
Right now.
Right now. He's going to keep going too, I bet.
Yeah.
And then my son, who is 20, he has lost 108 pounds. But just seeing the transformation, not just in his health and his confidence, but in his emotional state. He used to struggle horribly with anxiety and depression. And to just see him completely transformed from where he used to have, he was manic or he was depressed. Now he's so much more even keeled. It's just exciting. And then just client transformations. Yesterday, we just celebrated one of my clients, Trisha Mason, who has lost 90 pounds. And yesterday was her year anniversary of staying within 5 pounds of her goal weight. So just to see the lasting, it's one thing to lose weight, but it's another thing to see someone be able to maintain that weight loss. And so that's super exciting. And then the third one's not quite as deep, but I just love that we have options that are healthy out there, that make life easier to be able to throw things together. And especially when you're cooking for a family, for instance, if I'm making, if it's taco night, I can give taco shells to those who want taco shells, but for me, there's things like egg life wraps that I can use that are healthy and simple to buy, or outer aisle sandwich thins, or cloudies are perfect. If I'm making burgers and everybody else wants regular buns, I can have a cloudy and it replaces the bun. So just that, I feel like things have gotten a little easier with being able to just purchase already made products. I'm very cautious about ingredients, and I only purchase products that have minimal ingredients and whole food ingredients, but there seems to be more of those options coming available.
Yes, I would agree on that. It definitely seems like as a culture, we're really looking at what we're putting in our bodies. And of course, there's still always going to be the junk there and the temptations and the candy and the chocolate and processed food. But I do feel like the stores are kind of packed full now with these better foods for you, there's better options, even the ones that are faster, they've figured out how to make them still clean. And that is such a good thing for us busy people. Um, and funny, something else that we were doing for like fast and convenience is I got together with a bunch of my mom friends and we made well, really, I did it 2 times. So 19 freezer meals and they were all keto friendly because
Perfect.
it's just easy when you're just choosing whole foods and you're just putting the protein like it is easy to do and it doesn't and now you have so many dinners ready and then at the same time I was saying this to them I can prepare this one with rice for the kids and I can prepare it for with cauliflower rice for me like I you just have those options but you have the main dinner already done it's amazing.
Yes, and having simple substitutions like that, like you said, doing cauliflower rice instead of regular, it's not like you have to make a completely different meal. That's what's
Yeah.
nice. And
Yeah.
actually, my clients and I go to a local butcher and they've allowed me to come up with the plan. They have a keto plan, but my plan's a little bit different than traditional keto. So they let me actually create the recipe. And then my clients and I go and they have everything chopped and ready, and all we're doing is taking and scooping the amount that it says on the recipe into a bag, take it home, and we've got 10 freezer meals, just like you said. So you throw it in a crock pot, go on with your busy day, and you have something available. So yeah,
Wow, that's really nice.
yeah,
That's nice that you can work with them on that. And that's definitely like the best meat too, that you can find the best protein. So good
yeah.
for you. Um, okay, so thanks for sharing those things that you're loving. And obviously a lot of that, well, two of them majorly played into what you're going to share today, which is just fine. Um, so I would love you from here to go on and share your testimony. And we just love testimonies. We love how, um, we defeat the enemy by the word of our testimony. So whatever you want to share for your testimony is fine with us. We'll take it all in. You can go back as far as you want. You can go as deep as you want and just share like where you came from to where you are today and why are you doing what you're doing today. I think you have a story through all of it. So whatever you want to share, we're here to listen.
All right, super. Well, I have struggled with my weight my entire life. So I can remember back being 12 years old and starting a diet, and I literally from that point have gone from one diet to the next, and then in between going off the rails and eating
Mhm.
everything in sight because I knew I'd be starting my next diet. So being a consistent yo-yo dieter is the story of my life. And so that's why I am so grateful that I've been able now. I lost 120 pounds and I've been able to keep it off for 4 years. So for me, that's like a miracle because in the past, I would lose weight. I could do anything. I did the healthier things like Whole30 and paleo, and I did the Daniel plan, the Daniel fast. I've done, I mean, literally, if you name something, I've probably done it. And I would always lose weight. My problem was that I could never then continue. Once I hit my goal weight, I would start gaining the weight back. And usually I would gain back everything I had lost plus more. So honestly, I was just tired of feeling trapped in my body that I really couldn't keep up with life like I wanted to. And so I started really researching holistic approaches, looking at the whole body, recognizing it's more than a diet. It's about how you move your body, about how much water you drink, staying hydrated, making sure you get your sleep, taking all of those things into consideration, and working with my functional medicine doctor. At the time, honestly, I was working with a nutritionist, and she was fantastic, but she had me doing nothing but organic fruits and vegetables. And I'm a rule follower, so whatever plan I've done, I do exactly what they tell me to do. So I was juicing and eating nothing but organic fruits and vegetables, and I was not losing. And I was paying her a lot of money. So I can remember sitting in my functional medicine doctor's office practically in tears at the biggest I had ever been, and just crying out to her saying, I have a broken body. I can lose weight, but I cannot keep it off. And I told her what I was doing at the time, and she said, "You're doing this backwards. You need to be eating high fat, medium protein, and low carb. You're eating nothing but carbs by juicing and
Hmm.
eating organic fruits and vegetables." And so I started researching that more. And I had tried traditional keto. I had done well, lost about 19 pounds, but I was including way too much cheese, to be honest. I was making like pizza crust out of cheese and then putting my pizza toppings and more cheese. And so I wasn't doing a healthy keto. And so I recognized I need the phytonutrients in vegetables, and I need to be able to have my macronutrients meet the requirements to allow me to have vegetables and to have some berries and things like that. So I really just kind of switched gears and was like, you know what? I'm not going to focus on a diet. I'm going to focus on changing my lifestyle. And it was through that I was able to lose those 120 pounds. And that not only transformed my own body, but it transformed my approach to health and well-being, and allowed me to then become a certified health coach and be able to help other people who are in the same. I have such a deep passion for people who feel hopeless, because I felt so hopeless. And so when I sense from someone who's a potential client that hopelessness, there's nothing more that drives me, that I want to say, listen, I was you. I know what this is like 4 years later, and I'm still maintaining this weight loss. There is a way of doing this that's healthy and sustainable, and that you don't have to feel deprived and you don't have to feel hungry.
Yeah, wow, that's really good. Because you said some things there that are definitely going to lead me into my next question, because there was so much there that you can see and hear the layers underneath of it as to where it started and the mental challenge that all of this was, and how much our physical wellness and just point blank our weight and our fitness weighs on our mind, and it weighs on our function. You said I felt broken. And it's like, how much does that play into how you mom, how you show up every day, how you are a friend, how you're a spouse, how you just present yourself? If you have this feeling and this belief that I'm broken, you're not
Yeah.
going to show up as your best self and live with purpose and passion and a mission if you feel broken. And that broken feeling came from you trying stuff over and over and being defeated over and over.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing, because now that you don't feel that way and you have victory and you have changed your mindset and you feel empowered, now you're able to help other people who come to you and say, I feel broken. And you say, no, we don't have to be broken and we're going to get better. So I love that. Um, I do want to say, go back to the fact that you you started at 12 is when you started your story with us. And at 12, I have an 11 and a half-year-old. So I'm always like, when is this going to start? When they start really thinking about their bodies? Because for me, it was 11, because I was diagnosed with scoliosis. And it was the first time I really looked at my body in the mirror. Like, oh, I looked at my body and saw that it was crooked. But it was the first time I really looked at it. And I know that that's going to start for her for whatever reason. And like you said, it was 12 for you and you started, you know, trying all these diets and is that when you started did you realize at 12 that you were overweight? Were you overweight at the time? Or was it just all of a sudden your eyes were open to your body and this physical form that you had to take care of? Or were you already like up to 12 not living a healthy lifestyle even as a kid?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say it's funny because I look back at pictures and like in high school, I was a cheerleader and I can remember I always felt fat in my cheerleading skirt. I wanted to have a long skirt. And I look back at those photos and I'm like, you're crazy. You were not fat.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of it was in my head. It was a
Yeah.
mental thing back then. But it became a reality for me. And I think part of it stems from the fact that both of my parents have struggled with being morbidly obese. As I mentioned, I've seen them totally transform, which has been
Yeah.
so exciting. But I think because my mom was always doing a diet, and that's what makes me, I'm the same way, because with having especially my 9-year-old, she decided on her own after hearing me talk about the detriments of sugar that she wanted to stop eating sugar. But I want to make sure that she's not doing that because she
Mm-hmm.
thinks she's fat, because it can
Yeah.
start as young as 9,
Yeah.
it can. And so I really think it wasn't until after I got married, which I was married at 21, and my husband is one who he's 6'2". He's weighed the same that he has since high school. He can eat whatever he wants. So I'd see him eating a whole large pizza. And I'd think to myself, well, why can't I eat a whole large pizza? You know, or he'd be eating a foot long Subway sandwich. And I'd be like, well, that looks good. I think I'll eat a foot long. Well, my metabolism is not like his, so I can't do those things. So that's when I really started packing on the weight. And then, of course, with
Mm.
each child, having
Yeah.
4 children, every time I gained weight. I'll share a really embarrassing, deep story about being pregnant with my fourth child. As I mentioned, my other three are older, so they were much closer in age to one another. And then she was our surprise blessing. I had all of them with the same doctor. When I went to the doctor's office when I was pregnant with my fourth child, she fired me as a patient. She told me I was too old and I was too fat. And
Oh.
she basically told me that I would never have a healthy child, and that she insinuated terminating the pregnancy.
Oh.
And I left there feeling my absolute lowest. Like,
Yeah, that breaks my heart. As a nurse, I'm just like, whoa, like
yeah.
how could she? And you know what? She probably did that out of her own a lot of reasons. But if she can't isn't confident she's going to deliver a healthy baby because of problems that typically happen, statistics that happen when people aren't healthy and they get pregnant, then she probably was like, I don't want that. I don't want to be sued for anything. I'm protecting myself. And that's just awful instead of really helping the person. Ugh,
Yeah,
sorry.
it was a deep, dark moment. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I never even told my parents. I was so mortified. My husband was there with me, so of course he knew. But it wasn't until years later when I was health coaching and I decided, this might be a story someone else could resonate with. And so I shared it, and I shared some pictures of me pregnant, and I was huge. I'll tell
Hmm.
you, I was huge. But you know what? My 9-year-old is perfectly healthy. She's an amazing, girl. And my parents are in my health coaching group. So that was the first time. I hadn't even thought about the fact I had never told them. When they saw that, they were furious. They were like, let's go take Cammie, that's my daughter's name, and go back to that doctor and say, here's what you said would never be healthy. And look at
Yeah.
her, you know.
Yeah.
So it was heart-wrenching. So those kind of things, though, those are what inspire me to stay motivated, that I am not going back to where I was.
Yeah.
And to not get back to where my entire body hurt every time I stood up. I mean, I was very big, and it affected, like you said, I couldn't be the best version of myself for my family. And every morning I would wake up and I would think to myself, oh no, I'm still fat. What am I going to do about this? Like it was the top of my mind from the moment I stepped out of bed. And it's the enemy attacking because
Hmm.
instead of being able to step out of bed and say, what can I do to glorify you today, Lord? I was stepping out of bed saying, oh, I'm fat. What am I going to do to lose this weight? It was
Yeah.
consuming my mind.
Yeah,
So
I feel that. And I would say, I would add to the listeners, you don't have to be hundreds of pounds overweight to feel that. You could be 10 pounds overweight and feel that as your first thought when you wake up in the morning. And if that is, that's God revealing what he wants to heal. That's God saying, hey, this is an enemy thought, and I'm revealing this to you so that you do something about it, so that you start taking action into your whole person, because this is affecting your whole person. It's not just about the weight. It's not just about that you chose cookies over fruit last night for dessert. Like it is way deeper than that, and he wants to heal it, and he wants to heal us from all these wounds, not just not just we think these traumatic wounds or um I don't know, big things that happen to us in life. No, he wants to take even this negative thought that I'm broken or I'm never going to lose this weight or all these negative expectations and inner vows that we've created in our head from growing up or even young adulthood or from a doctor that says, no, I can't, I'm not going to deliver your baby because you are unhealthy. Like that is scarring. And that's a wound that the Lord says, I want to heal every single word that was spoken to you or that you just feel because of the circumstances. And maybe it wasn't spoken out loud, but you took that experience and you made a vow with it and said, okay, well, I'm not going to do this or I'm going to do this. And you made up a vow and a promise that is with the enemy and is not with God's agenda of what he wants to do in you. So, wow, that's so good. Um, and I love that you shared that story with your whole group because, like you said, well, I know this because I love testimonies and I think you know this too. Like he wants to every story that we go through, every experience can help someone. And it might not be that they went to the doctor with their fourth baby and that the doctor said that. No. But it could be just that feeling that you're conveying like I was at my lowest point. I didn't even have a doctor to help me with my baby and because of my weight. And so you can help someone who feels, like you said, hopeless and say, no, there is hope. And that story is just, yeah, it's just a testament to your mental courage. So let's go there. Let's go there because our why for anything, any kind of goal that we have in life, it can be a wellness, any kind of wellness goal. And I think wellness is your holistic person, not just your physical wellness. So any wellness goal that we have in life, there's got to be a why behind it or we're going to stop. And you said you're continuing to be motivated, and motivation comes from our mind. We have this mental push that is pushing us towards something. But why? What is it? And it has to be something that stays, that it's not like you reach that and you reach that goal and then you're done and you're like, okay, I made it. Because then we just go backwards. Then we just add the weight back on again. We get done that diet and we add it again. So to put it back on weight. So what is your ultimate why? What is really the mental motivation that you have that keeps you keeping this weight off for the last 4 years, keeping you going and inspiring others, sharing your story over and over? What keeps you going um, in all of it?
I would say my biggest why was being an example for my family and then becoming the best version of myself so I could be there for them.
Hmm.
Because if I can't, if I feel broken, like you said, it's going to affect how I am a mom to my kids. It's going to affect how I'm a wife to my husband. It's going to affect how I'm a daughter to my parents. It affects every part of my life. So I knew I needed to make changes, not just for me, but for them. And honestly, at the start of my journey, I also wrote down how I wanted to see life different when I did hit my goal weight. And I thought about specific things, and some of them may seem silly, but I took the time, and I highly recommend for anyone who's listening, if you are wanting to make changes, do that. Take the time to just write down some things. I'm never afraid to share. Some of these are embarrassing things for me, but I'll share some of my things that I wrote down back then. And the beautiful thing is that I still have this list so that it keeps me motivated to not go backwards, because sometimes we forget. We get over a hurdle and we forget what life was like before, and then we end up going back to where we came from. So by writing these down and having them, I keep them in the notes in my phone. But one was being able to play with my daughter. I wanted to be able to get down on the floor, play with her, and be able to stand up without being in excruciating pain. I wanted to be able to go to a playground with her and fit on a swing and be able to swing with her. I wanted to be able, at the time she was 4 when I started this. So some of these, she's 9 now. I still want to be able to do these things. But if she had taken off running at a playground, I would not have been able to get to her. I physically could not run. I was a teacher at the time, and I taught on the second floor, and I had to walk upstairs, and I can remember just counting in my head every
Mm.
single step, and the pain that it excruciating pain that filled my body with every single step, getting out of breath, being embarrassed because the students were whipping by me, going up those stairs. I was at the point where I was embarrassed to go to social outings. For
Mhm.
instance, here's an example. My high school group just had a reunion the other night, and if I had been 120 pounds heavier, I would not have gone. That
Yeah.
sounds very prideful, but I didn't want people who knew me in high school to see me at the weight that I was at. So it affected my social events.
Mhm.
Um, I wanted to be able to wear any clothes in my closet. I had sizes, and probably 10 different sizes hanging in my closet, because I would always think, oh, well, I could get back to this, and I would keep my fat clothes because I was afraid, because historically I would end up back in my fat clothes. So I didn't want to get rid of them. So to just be able to go into my closet and not have all these different sizes, just have one size that I've worn for 4 years, that's amazing to me. You know, my whole body would hurt when I stood up. So I can remember going out with friends, and when the bill would come, I would purposely stand then, because I needed to acclimate myself to the pain before I could take a first step.
Mhm.
So that gave me that few minutes, while the bill was coming. I wanted to be able to fit into roller coaster seats. I can remember having to do a walk of shame at Universal. I was testing on the Hulk, to see if I could fit. I couldn't fit. I couldn't buckle it. So I had to get off and walk all the way back and let my family go without me. Same thing with go-karts. I was too big to ride the go-karts with my family. Little things like fitting into a hotel towel. I could never wrap the hotel towel all the way around me. So I wrote all these things down that just were weighing on me. I was embarrassed when people would hug me because they'd feel my back fat. So I would kind of shirk away from people and didn't want that. My boys used to love to tickle me, but I was embarrassed to have them touch my sides because of my fat. Like, it affected so many areas of my life. And so by writing those things down, it has just helped me. I go through that list and I think, wow, I just went to that reunion the other night. I had a blast talking with my friends. I would have missed that opportunity because I wouldn't have gone. I could hug those people at that event and not think about my back fat. I can play with my daughter. All these things that have changed in my life is what keeps driving me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so that's you wrote down all your fears, insecurities, all the deep things that you're thinking and feeling that probably have never come out of your mouth, some of them, and you wrote them down, you brought them into the light, and whether you were journaling with God or just writing them down, it doesn't matter because when you're doing that, like and bringing it out into the light, he sees that, he knows that. Um, and so you said you have this on the note section of your phone. How often do you go back and read that? Or do you have a place where you also have a display, something that you can see on a more often basis that reminds you of this list or this why?
I do actually have it printed and I have it on my mirror in my bathroom because
Okay, great. That's what I
it's
was
a
like.
reminder. Yes.
Yeah, because I think so often we I mean, we just forget our why. Like we just have such forgetful memories and we forget what it felt like. And we forget those little things, like all those fear. Like, you know, some people at 4 years in would already forget some of those things of what back fat feels like. But when you write it down and have it displayed, it reminds your memory of, oh, that felt awful. And like, I remember that. And I did have that. And that, so I think that's awesome that you have it displayed. Um, and that is a big, courageous step that you took to move forward in the face of fear and say, hey, I'm doing this for the last time. I'm changing my whole body for the very last time. Right now, I'm going to journal all the reasons why I'm not going back there this time. I'm not going to yo-yo this time. It's going to be different. What other step of courage did you take? It could be a very baby step, it could be a big step, but what other step of courage did you take in the face of fear that helped you never go back?
I would say that it was honestly small, sustainable changes and
Uh-huh.
recognizing that my first of all my faith my belief in Jesus Christ and knowing that he wants me to be healthy, he wants me to be the best version of myself, and depending on him, taking it to him in prayer, saying, Lord, this is your body that you've given me, help me to be the best steward of this body. And realizing that it was embracing this complete mindset change, lifestyle change, not just doing another diet. I focused on nourishing my body without feeling deprived, staying active, but in ways that I enjoyed. I always tell my clients, if you don't like running, don't run. Find something you enjoy. And in our family, it's silly, but we have dance parties every time we are clean. We'll start cleaning up the house together, and whoever's in charge of doing the dishes gets to choose what Alexa is going to play. And so my kids love 80s music, so they'll put on play 80s or whatever. And we'll end up, as we're cleaning up the house, it turns into a big dance party and a competition between the kids, and between my husband's got some good dance moves. But we're moving our bodies, we're finding joy in it. It's not like, oh, I've got to go for a run. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
find something that you enjoy. If you like Zumba, go do Zumba. If you like, whatever it is that you can find joy in, that's what you'll actually do. You're not going to stay consistent with something if you don't enjoy it. And the same thing with the foods. I love muffins and pancakes and waffles. So I have figured out ways to make them actually without any flour at all. One of the differences between my plan and traditional keto is a lot of keto plans include things like almond flour and coconut flour. For me, that caused me to stall or to gain. So I had to cut those out. And so I use golden flaxseed meal as a replacement. So I still eat muffins and pancakes and waffles and desserts. So I'm not feeling deprived, but I'm making it with foods that are good and nourishing for my body. And, it's just trusting the process, even when it feels overwhelming, knowing, and even when the scale doesn't move the way you want it to, recognizing this is a new lifestyle. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. This is changing my life.
Mm.
And that approach has really, helped me with my own health, but then helped me to empower others to do the same thing.
Yes. Okay. First off, I'm going to need those recipes. Second off, um, second off is you're speaking my language. I preach about sustainable, small action steps, achievable action steps. That's what I coach my people through as well. Um, but it takes only because we've been there and we've done that and we're on the other side can we say, keep going, Keep taking that small baby step, because the more you do it, it's going to compound, your effort's going to compound, and then you're going to get to your result. But you have to keep going. You have to keep taking the baby step every day. That's so much easier said than done. Go back to your person that you were, taking the baby steps and making the good food choices every day in that first 6 months. What was the hardest part of taking the baby steps and knowing that I'm working towards sustainable change. I'm working towards change that is going to last forever. But what was the hardest part in all that? Because that's not easy.
Yeah, one of the hardest parts for me personally was the fact that I have Hashimoto's disease.
Mm-hmm.
So with a slow thyroid in my mind too, I thought you're never going to lose this weight. It was that
Yeah.
mindset. You are always you might lose the weight, but you're going to put it right back on. So it was changing that mindset, and so again, my functional medicine doctor has been just a huge help in this, because I can remember even after I had lost my weight, sitting in her office because I have my annual checkups. And so I had, at this point, I think I had lost close to 100 pounds. And I saw her and I said, this is still a struggle. I am still struggling to keep my weight off. This is not easy. And she made some suggestions. She told me to do some things. She recommended 1 day a week doing a bone broth fast. And so for practically 3 years now, maybe actually no, I guess it's been closer to 4 years. I've been once a week, every Wednesday. I just chose my busiest day of the week. I do a bone broth fast. But in doing that fast, it also is a spiritual thing, because it
Mm-hmm.
allows me to depend on the Lord and to spend time in prayer with Him on that day, um, asking for His help and His guidance. And honestly, even in my coaching business, I pray for the Lord to bring me who He wants me to help. And He has been so faithful. Um, he has far exceeded my expectations, and who he has brought. And there's so many God stories even among my clients. I have reconciliation among family members. One of my clients hadn't spoken to her sister in years, and she posted about her weight loss. Well, her sister then texted her and shared, hey, what is it that you're doing? Well, then she ended up joining my group too, and now they have reconciled their relationship. So it's just like so far beyond just weight loss, to see how when you turn it over to God, He will do so much more than what you could ever do on your own. And
Yeah.
I mean, He can move mountains. He can make this a lasting change for you. But there's, on a daily basis, I have to go to Him. There's temptations constantly. So, just recently I was at a birthday party, and my favorite thing used to be peanut butter and chocolate. Anything peanut butter and chocolate was my thing. Well, they brought out this birthday cake that, I'm not kidding, was like 10 layers, alternating chocolate and peanut butter. And I purposely left the room. I went to the restroom. I went in there and I prayed. I said, Lord, give me the strength to resist this cake, because on my own, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to eat one piece, which is going to lead to two, and I'm going to ask to take some home, you know? So I prayed and I said, God, give me the strength. I cannot do this without you. And it's amazing, because I went back, I enjoyed the social aspect of the party. I didn't even look at that cake again. And God gave me that ability to resist that temptation. And that's just one example of many, many, many temptations over the last 4 years. But on my own, I can't do it. With
Yeah.
His strength, I can do anything. So, and because I struggle with my weight, I think that that is what has helped me stay relatable with my clients, because I have to keep mixing things up myself. So I'll do different challenges in my group all the time. We just in January started an OMAD challenge, 1 meal a day. And honestly, I ended up loving it so much, I stuck with it. And so I still to this day just do 1 meal a day. If you would have asked me 5 years ago if I could live on 1 meal a day, I would have thought you were crazy. I would have said, no way, I'm going to eat my arm off. But when you shift your body to burning fat for energy instead of carbohydrates, and you recognize the benefits of allowing your body a rest from digestion and from insulin, you'd be amazed at how long you can actually go without eating. So, in addition to my 1 day a week bone broth fast, I only eat one meal a day on the other days. But in my group, I've done logging challenges. I've done KISS challenges, which stands for Keep It Super Simple, where everyone eats meals with 5 ingredients or less, and we post our ideas in the group. So it's just it's helpful that I have to keep doing new things because when I do it, I create it as a challenge in my group, and then I do a $100 Amazon gift card to those who participate, and I randomly select a winner. But it creates engagement in the group, and we all do things together. But if I was, if I never had to worry about my weight, I may not do these kind of things. And so I feel like the Lord has allowed me to take my biggest struggle and turn it for good and helping people who he has brought to me.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I love all of that. I think it's great how you're pointing out to everyone that when you have even a physical issue or a physical goal, say you want to walk more steps every day, you want to walk 10,000 steps a day, go to God about it. Don't just make this goal and write it down on your calendar and tell your husband and be like, hey, we're going to walk every day. But it's going to get hard. After like 2 days, it's going to get hard. And so you need God's strength. He's the one that sustains us. We're talking about sustainable change. Go to the sustainer of all things. He's going to help you. So I love that. And then, man, your challenges sound so fun. And I agree. I think accountability is the key to consistency. It's what keeps us, it's the secret code, it's the secret sauce. And so the fact that you're saying, hey, I need accountability, so let me welcome in my people to join me for my accountability, and then I'll be theirs. And together we're going to have all these results. I love that. And so on the podcast here, we're not trying to push any listener into any one health plan or way to eat, but what I will encourage you to do is take this to God. I actually have a whole episode on how fasting is the best spiritual practice, holistic spiritual practice. So for your physical, mental, everything. So I've done fasting. I still eat a somewhat keto diet. I keto and fasting are a part of my lifestyle. And obviously Rhonda, all about keto, fast some too, once a week. So yes, this is what we do, and this is what we've actually gotten instruction from God on what to do. So if you are encouraged by any of this, take it to God and ask Him. And if you feel any confirmations and you've been feeling things and sensing things during this episode, ask God about it. Ask Him to confirm it again in prayer. And then if you want to explore what Rhonda has to offer based off of all we've talked about today, then please do so. And tell us, Rhonda, where can they get involved with you? Where can they find you? What fun challenge do you have coming up?
Absolutely. I have a free Beyond Keto group. I just started it actually in February of this year, and I'm almost at 1,000 members. So it's been exciting. Again, only the Lord could do that. Just seeing the amount of people who have been just coming into the group, and the community and the support there is amazing. And so if anybody is interested, I would love for them to join my free Beyond Keto group. Actually, on August 26th, I am starting a new challenge in the group. It's called Lose 5 pounds in 5 days. And it's not a lose weight quick gimmick, because I have done all of those crazy gimmicks. I've done the healthier things, but I've done the crazy things. It is really the core of what I teach. And it's just a way it works. And it's a way of jumpstarting your weight loss. And then I've had so many people who then I have a paid Facebook group as well called Real Health Resolvers. And people who have started in the Beyond Keto group have then become clients in my Real Health Resolvers group. And my last workshop that I did in the Beyond Keto group was 2 months ago. Most of those people have now lost an average between 20 to 30 pounds. So it's something that you can kickstart your weight loss. But then if you want to, move further and continue, then you join the Real Health Resolvers group. So
Okay.
I would love anybody to join that Beyond Keto group. I can send you the link for that, as well as the link to register for the challenge called Lose 5 Pounds in 5 Days.
Okay, sounds great. We'll put these links in the show notes. And I think you also had mentioned some recipes. Do you have a cookbook, things like that?
I do.
Resources?
Absolutely. I've got a Beyond Keto cookbook. I can also give you the link for that. And I have as well a free ebook, and it has 3 days worth of meal plan with the recipes included, as well as information about fasting and information about keto and just, again, some of the core concepts that I teach.
All right. Well, that sounds great. We will put all that information in the show notes. And Rhonda, it has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on Holistic Moms.
Thank you so much. And thank you for doing what you do and letting the Lord use you to allow others to be able to share what He's wanting them to share. I prayed this morning, Lord, give me the words that you want me to say that will, even if it only hits one listener, if it's one person who hears what we're sharing and it changes their life, then we have accomplished our purpose. And I'm just so grateful to you for allowing God to use you the way that He is.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. And amen. May this bless whoever hears it. Hey, Wellness Warrior, I pray that blessed you. And if so, it would bless me big if you would write a 5-star review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Not only would this make me super happy, but it will allow for others to find this show too. Also, I love to chat over on Instagram, so make sure to take a screenshot, share to your Instagram stories, and tag me at @TheShanWright, so I can see it and we can keep chatting and bring other moms to chat with us. Until we get to chat again, mama friend, may the Lord's face shine upon you and give you peace.